Hello, elementary schoolers. We're here for our first real Phi-Ed gym class of the year. I asked you guys last week to make sure you had a ball or something soft that you could throw and catch. We're not going to throw a lot because I know some of us might be inside, especially if it's raining today. But I wanted you to have something we could throw and catch. We're going to work on something called hand-eye coordination today. And hand-eye coordination is how well you can see something coming or see something moving and use your hands to catch or to throw. Today specifically, we're going to work on catching something you see. So I wanted you to grab a ball that's soft. So first I wanted to show you an example of something we should not use inside the house. If you're outside doing this, you could use these balls, but if you are not outside, if you're inside like I am, there are a few things you don't want to use. You don't want to use a big basketball. These are kind of hard, and if you threw them and dropped them and missed them, you could hurt something or wreck something in your house. So we don't want to use a basketball inside the house. A soccer ball, maybe a little bit too big, a little bit too hard. Once again, you might break something inside the house. So we don't want to use that. For today, we don't want to use a football either. Too hard, and it's kind of odd shaped. So it's going to make it a little bit harder, especially for you first graders, to catch a football. So we don't want to use a football. And the last example I have that's a bad example is this is a golf ball. Golf ball is really hard, so we don't want to use a hard ball to practice our hand-eye coordination today. Today we want to use something soft. So I have some soft balls here. A tennis ball is kind of close. For you second or third graders, you might be able to use a tennis ball. It's a little bit softer. It's kind of fuzzy. You could use a tennis ball. I have some small indoor kind of squishy basketballs for inside that I might use. I have a small squishy foam ball here. And I also have some other cool little Bucks balls. Go Bucks. Hopefully they can get another win soon too. So these small balls we're going to use today to work on hand-eye coordination. So I want first, second, and third graders to start this with me. As we move along, I'm going to expect second graders to be able to do a little bit more and third graders to be able to do a little bit more. But to start with, all of us can start together. Now, if you don't have a ball or something soft that you can use right now, you can pause the video, go and find something that you can use for this. We're just going to be tossing the ball up in the air and watching it with our eyes to catch it. But we're going to do a few different things as we do that. So if you don't have a ball right now, or you don't have something nice and soft and round to use to catch, go ahead right now and go grab something, pause the video, go grab something and come on back. So we're going to first start off with two hands, one ball. So get that one ball, and we're going to use two hands. We're going to keep our eye on the ball, and we're going to see how many times we can just toss it up, just maybe a foot in the air, and catch it right in front of us, using our eyes and hands together to catch that ball. We're not throwing it way up to the ceiling. We're just throwing it up maybe a foot, a few inches out of our hands, and catching it. For you first graders, this should be pretty good. I think we can all do this. For second and third graders, I know this is easy. Just bear with me. I know some of you might have a real easy time at this. So the first one is two hands, little tosses with one ball. If you're able to do that, great, we're going to move on. If not, that's totally fine. You don't have to move on to the other things we're going to do today. If that was tough for you and you dropped it a few times, that's cool. Just continue to practice that. But if it was easy, let's add to it a little bit. So now we're going to try one ball, but now only with one hand. You can pick right or left, doesn't matter. You're going to take one hand, and I want to see how many times you can toss that ball up. Once again, just a little ways. Hand-eye coordination. Watch that ball come all the way down into your hand. And see how many in a row you can get. Don't have to go real fast. Notice I'm going kind of slow. You don't have to try and go fast. You can just go a little bit slower. Now, second and third graders, if some of this is real easy, I'm going to switch hands. If the other hand is easier, try both. One hand you might find a little bit harder. My guess is the hand you don't write with is going to be harder. The hand you do write with is your dominant hand. That one's probably going to be easier to throw and catch with. So, as I'm tossing here, I'm going to use both hands, give it a try, one with the right, one with the left. Keep trying. Now, first graders, if that's easy for you, you can continue to move on. Otherwise, first graders, continue to try that. The first one with two hands, catching it with two hands, and then just one hand. Second graders, third graders, I expect you guys to maybe be able to continue on with me here. We're going to get a little bit more difficult. Now what I want you to try and do is to try and go back and forth with that one ball. So every time we go, we're going to go right hand to left hand to right hand. Watch the ball with your eyes. Remember, we're working on something called hand-eye coordination. And you use hand-eye coordination in almost every sport or activity you want to do. Any bit of athletics, basketball, football, baseball, tennis. You use your hands and your eyes together. In volleyball, in soccer, you use your feet. But hand-eye coordination today. Now, if we got this down, one hand to the other, I want to make it a little bit more difficult. First graders, this might be a little tough for you, so I don't mind if you just practice what we already went over. And now we're going to add, for second, maybe even just for third graders, we're going to add a little pattern to it. So we're going to start with one hand, and I want you to toss it once, twice, and then switch. Once, twice, and then switch. So it's 1, 2, switch hands. And see if you can do that pattern back and forth. Now what this might look like to you, if you're watching my video, instead of watching the ball, is this might look like the beginning of juggling, which third graders, we're going to give it a try. Second graders, if you're doing really good at what we've done so far, you can give it a try too. And first graders, if you're awesome at this and you got it down already, you can give that a try as well. So we're doing 1, 2, and switch. Now we're going to try with one ball and a two ball. We're going to try with two. Now I want you guys to go kind of slow. This is going to be tough. I don't expect anybody to be able to do this, but if you gave it a try and you want to just give it another shot real quick, we're going to try our two ball juggling. This is kind of the most advanced part of today, hand-eye coordination. We'll continue to work on this as we go through the weeks of gym and add in other things, but we're going to try two ball. Here we go. I'm going to toss one up and over and switch hands with my other one. So really it's just the toss we worked on before and a handoff. I really have to watch that ball go up, and then I switch hands on the bottom. Not too bad. Give these a try this week. Practice, remember we started with two hands, catching one ball. Then we went to one hand, catching with one hand. Then we tried to switch back and forth slowly. And at the end, we ended up trying to juggle with two. I want you to give these little drills a try. Different catching, different throws, using your hands and eyes together to be a successful catcher. We'll see you guys next week.